these are oracle cards. So the difference between, you heard about tarot.
Yeah.
Tarot. Yeah. So tarot is very structured. Like there's a structure. Like there's, I don't know much about tarot.
Okay.
But there's like the minor arcana, the major arcana.
Okay.
And they have like a structure. So oracle cards, you will see different sets. There's like an angel oracle card. Well, right now you go on Amazon, type in oracle cards, zillions are going to come out.
Yeah.
So the one that I brought today is by a woman named Rebecca Campbell. She is actually a British life coach, and she's just an incredible being, but she's extremely spiritual. And this is actually her very first deck. It's called Work Your Light. So basically an oracle cards are more intuitive rather than more structured. So the interpretation is different, because when you're in tarot, like, the devil upside down means something,
right.
And with this, they're more I like oracle just because I can sense the person and I can just kind of have a feel, of our mutual interchange and vibration. So
Gotcha.
when I do these like online, people are like, oh my gosh, it resonates so much. And basically I don't pull the cards, they pull the cards.
Gotcha.
Even though they're online, right? I can't.
Oh, okay.
So because I have you here in front of me.
Perfect.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to hold them in your left hand.
Okay.
And with the right hand, you're going to knock them 3 times.
Okay.
And then you're going to shuffle them.
Okay.
When you knock them 3 times, you break the energy. And
Just
just shuffle them
Okay.
however, like you had a deck of playing cards even.
Yeah. I don't play too much cards, but
however you like.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shuffle them.
I'll let spirit guide me.
There you go. Perfect. So your left hand is your intuitive hand.
Okay.
Okay. So now we don't have too much space here. So I don't know if you like to just feel him. Okay. Or do you want to create a little space here? Perfect. Wonderful. So I'm going to move this inside just so that you can have more room.
Okay.
So now here, you already shuffle them, spread them. And with your left hand, I'll have you give me actually 3.
Okay.
So
with my left hand.
With your left hand is your intuitive hand. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
So you can give me 3 with your left hand. Yep. So we pull 3 cards.
Okay.
And we're just going to interpret them as past, present, future.
Okay.
But they all are intertwined. So with the past, you got Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, and Teacher. So this card for you, it tells me more of the teacher. You are a mystic because you're curious about all these things. You continue to learn, and you do have devotion towards your own understanding, your own path. What this card represents mostly for me is the teacher in you. You want to share. You are a keeper of knowledge. You want to, so a lot of times when I do these readings, there's a lot of feelings that I have to interpret. But this one here, Sisterhood of the Rose, it shows me a lot of the teacher in you. And due to our previous conversation before we even started, there's a lot of that where you want to head.
Yeah.
So kind of where we are present, the Council of Council of Light. So we have divine orchestration, helpers in the saddle realms. So begin to speak more to your spirit guide. So Angel, are you more spiritual or more religious?
Spiritual.
More spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I say the word spirit guide, is that something that you would be like, not so sure, D?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I say higher self, what seems to resonate most?
Just my true self, right?
Your true self.
Yeah. Not the person, right? But my inner self.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now in the present moment is do you meditate?
I try to. I've done it a couple of times, but I really do want to do it more.
Okay. So other thing, so this card is speaking actually a lot more loudly, because when you come, meditation literally just means to be present. So a lot of times people think that you have to be sitting cross-legged, out and meditate for hours. No, the other way to do it, when you said I try, is contemplation. So maybe you're sitting outside and just like contemplating on your life, coming into those moments of stillness.
I do that, especially when I'm working out, like in between sets. I really like my desires, my thoughts. I do that and I really take all that in when I'm working out.
So they're telling me that you're great at visualizing. Have you ever done a vision board?
I've done it a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it seem silly? Like, do I really believe that this thing is going to come?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I believe in it, but I do understand want, you have to take action towards it.
Oh, of course, of
Yeah.
course, of course. One of the things just with this card is just kind of keep saying, like when I do this, sometimes I begin to channel instead of just reading the cards. So I begin to feel things
Sure.
around you.
Yeah,
I just keep hearing that you're very visual to continue to. So when you're meditating, see yourself where you want to be. See yourself not as if it's separate from you, but you see yourself as if it is now. So the clothes that you're wearing, like you're in that office, you are in with that team. You are driving the car. You like seeing yourself. This is where you are. And this card is actually asking you to take a lot of actions towards that. So maybe as soon as you wake up in the morning, before the baby starts crying, or you have to go tend, or you have a minute for yourself, to see yourself every morning if possible, they're saying more of where you are, because time doesn't exist.
Right.
So I hear a lot of this one where you are. There's a lot of momentum in your life right now. There's a lot of momentum. So visualizing is your ally right now. But a lot of the times, just for people who are hearing, you visualize. And it's like, I've been visualizing this. But you have to have a correlated feeling. You have to feel it in your gut that you're there, that you have your team, that you're on vacation, that whatever it is that you want, that you are there and doing all those things. All right. So past, present, future. Play. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Enjoyment. So all this goes hand in hand. To enjoy, the more playful, the more fun you're having, the more good you're feeling.
Yeah.
And when we have those good feeling sensations while we're visualizing, you just catapult it. But here they're just returning me to this one again. You are in a state right now of any action you take with the right alignment, you feeling good, your vibration is rising. We're not saying that, challenges are not occurring, but you focus on that, it's just going to make it happen. It's because I think they want to give me a timeline for something. Okay. They're like, February and June, February, but I feel June, that's June. February and June are two months that things could occur. But they're not being very clear if it's just like, I feel February, but I also feel June. So I don't know if it's in between, or is it going to be something in February and then something in June. But yeah, take action right now.
As you say that, is because that's something because I work so hard in everything I do, right? But I am very understanding that time doesn't exist, right? But then part of me is like, yeah, I know and I understand that time doesn't exist, but at the same time, I'm like, when? Like I've been like putting so much energy into it, but I just I'm a strong believer into walking by faith, not by sight, right? Because when you start walking by sight, you're not going to see the fruitions of your current successes. You're not going to be seeing, because everything is manifesting in the spiritual realm, right? So I'm very eager at times. It's like, when, but I do backtrack and tell myself, just relax. What's meant for you, it's going to happen, at its own time.
So we have to release the resistance. So humans, we are great at working against ourselves all the time. And then anytime we have an intention, we know a positive intention is much more stronger than a negative, or like a positive thought is stronger than a negative thought. So when we have like a really good positive intention we set out ourselves to do, then I don't know necessarily if I want to call it the ego, but it's like, this little voice is like, look at how hard you're working. And right now when you said, I work so hard, I just heard it's like, let that go. You don't have to work hard. We actually do not have to work hard, with the part of like what working hard means.
Right.
So it's like working in alignment. It's like, you're not going to work any less if you say, I'm not going to work hard.
Right.
You're still going to give it your all. As long as you continue to show up, giving it your best, and living like a good life of nurturing yourself, not putting yourself in the back burner in any way, showing up for you and your family, and raising that vibration within you, because it's the most important. We are a vibratory universe, a world where you live in a vibrational planet, speaking a vibrational language. So our words matter. So when you have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to let it go, let it go. And like really trust. This is what the faith comes in, right? I know I'm taking all the right steps in that direction. Now I'm going to just enjoy. That's where your play comes. More enjoy what I'm doing, and I know it's leading me to the path of my highest good. So a little tip that I would love to share is, you have a vision and you're like, I want this so bad, right? And instead of choking it, when it's going to happen, it's letting it go and say, I want this or something better. That way, if it's not created the way you wanted it, it's going to be something better, the way you actually need it to be. And it releases, it shifts your energy, shifts your vibration, and it lets you do it in a much more relaxed way without having the attachment of, but why is it not happening when I'm doing it all correct?
Right.
Sometimes, again, time doesn't exist, but our timelines are constantly crossing over.
I agree. And that's something that now, as we mentioned before the podcast started, that's something that I'm letting go of a lot of the post-production. Before, every day after work, I would get home and I would at least be on the computer for a good 2 hours. So far, it's been on a daily basis, right? Now, for the past 2 weeks, I feel like this is the first time I'm coming into my studio area, that now it just feels like I have so much free time. Now I can really enjoy the time with my daughter, right? When before I would just I just wanted to set her aside so I can come and work on the goals, to work towards the dream. But now I feel like I can finally be at peace, and at ease. So I'm working towards that. And so when you were saying that, I truly understand that. I'm actually working on letting it go and just enjoying it and just letting it be.
That's what we all need to do,
Right.
but we get attached to. But why is it not happening? It's that's why I see how are you going to feel there,
Right?
Not how you're going to get there. Just or why? Just let go.
Yeah, and you know what? Just and we can close it out in a few. Oh, one of my friends, I was talking to him, and he said, "Angel, I understand why you're doing different types of topics, different types of guests." He said, "But if you were to just focus on one niche, then you would make it a lot faster, right? Because you gain an audience. But then at the same time, it doesn't satisfy me, right? Because it's not for me, it's just documenting conversations, right? It's not like you go on with your day and, no, I don't want to talk to this person because it's not about this. It's not about music. It's not about a specific sport.
Yes.
No, you have genuine conversations with so many different types of people. And for me, this is me having fun, having all types of different conversations. Some can be silly, some can be serious, some can be very, very emotional, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying it. And to be honest, having this conversation with yourself today is probably one of my favorite ones so far.
Thank you. And that's the beauty of you, of you're curious, you want to learn. And you said something super interesting, because everybody wants to put everyone in a niche, in a box.
Yeah.
If you do this, it'll be better this way. But what is sustainable for you?
Yeah. Right.
You're I want to have conversations with you. What is my podcast about? Life and people, and it's
hey.
do I talk about ayahuasca and put it in plant medicine? It's always your root.
Right. And
so perfect.
But the reason why I say that is because I strongly want to promote it for people, because I really truly believe in it, right? And if my soul, if my heart is telling me to do so, guess what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I think before the podcast we were talking about Joe Rogan for whatever reason, and I mentioned that to my friend. I'm like, well, look at Joe Rogan, look at the Avant. They have so many different types of guests. Yes, but he's Joe Rogan. Yes, but I'm yes, but I'm me. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yes.
I'm no less than these people. You know what I mean? I get it. They've built their platform, but everybody's special and everybody's unique. If we're going to be downplaying ourselves, then we're making a huge mistake, because we were created under the vision, under God's image.
Yes. No, and you have the great attitude for that. Yeah. It was okay, if it takes me a little longer, but I'm like Joe Rogan, he was the fear factor, you know, so it wasn't easy for him in a way either. He also had to build his credibility, and it just evolved. And how long has he been doing it? What is the difference from you sitting here in your amazing space to, having a lot of people later on that in the eyes of others are better guests or, bigger platform. I'm like, no.
And I've been so fortunate and blessed that I've had people that have 2 million followers here, that they've had 50,000. But at the end of the day, their story is not any better than somebody else that has no followers, Yes. At the end of the day, everybody's equal.
Yes, absolutely. So, I love that you're there's no comparison. And that's the thing, not to compare yourself to somebody else. It's I am unique in my own nature, and I give myself the allowance and the permission to, if they can do it, why not me?
That's always been my mindset, right?
Yeah.
And before, I used to try to be so structured with the podcast because obviously you continue growing, right? That before I would have been probably even too shy to be holding a napkin, right? I would have been like, if I wanted to sneeze, I'm like, oh man, I can't sneeze because I'm going to ruin it. But now it's part of the conversation. People at times want to see all of that.
You're
like,
human.
Yeah. So now and even if other people have maybe thousands of followers and whatnot, at the end of the day, it's just a conversation.
Yeah. It is. At the end of the day, we're just learning about each other.
Yeah.
And being curious and putting out there some information that hopefully will reach somebody who, like with mental health and maternal mental health, with somebody who may be feeling very alone, because it happens, that's why they don't speak. Nobody speaks up because you feel shame and guilt, and people suffer alone.
Yeah.
And somebody who's maybe curious about ayahuasca is like, oh, well, that didn't sound so horrible.
Yeah. And I think that's been my recurring topic, ayahuasca, but for some reason I'm receiving that. So I'm just channeling it through, right? Because it calls me, I'm doing it, and I'm just following the receptors.
You see, you're like the spirit podcaster. There you go. You're like, this is not even me. It's like my spirit speaking through. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Do you mind if I show the cards so people can see
of course.
So just wanted to just show this is the Sisterhood of the Rose.
The Rose, yeah.
So just so people can see. The second one that I pulled was Council of Light right there. And then lastly, it was Play.
Yes.
Right here.
Enjoy. See that your Council of Light, that's your spirit coming through and tell you who to have, what to speak about, what questions to ask.
Yeah.
There you go. And enjoying and having fun.
Hoy Nomas podcast. Clips for full podcast link can be found on description below.